Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rural Survival Show with Rik, Schmidt, and Tim Spencer. We are recording this on November 3, which is a Thursday in the year of our Lord, 2022. We're going to try to shorten the length of this video a little bit, not too much. And in other words, no BS. We're going to try to get through it. Anyway, Rik, proceed, sir.
Okay, take two. So here's the deal. As we were saying in the preceding video, there are enough people out there telling you that you're in big trouble, telling you to run for the hills, telling you that everything's collapsing and that I guess you're going to wind up in a concentration camp by Christmas. I understand that, and they may turn out to be right, but at the same time, do you really need one more person? Do you need me to do it too? I would rather help you with something practical. So we are going to mention a couple of things that, in my opinion, cause us to have to do the things we're doing. Do I want to always try to be prepared for things? Well, it depends on how you look at it, doesn't it? 100 years ago, people were prepared because it was just part of everyday life.
Right. If you want to eat during the winter, you can during the summer.
Yes, exactly that kind of thing. That mentality. I know the government has made it so that everybody gets free money and everybody gets a trophy. There are no losers anymore. Says in the Bible, if a man won't work, don't feed him. Apparently the government did not read that part. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're going to burn the Bibles if they get the opportunity. But we're going to just briefly mention a couple of things that cause us to do the kind of things that we do and the kind of things we're going to talk about here. The economic situation is still, it's bad and it's getting worse. We have the dollar rising against other currencies, which actually is basically forcing the collapse of the euro, the pound sterling, and the yen. And there are a handful of other countries that are in big trouble too. That does not mean the dollar's good. Like we said before, the dollar is only the best looking horse in the glue factory. It's still not worth having, in my opinion. Yes, you can use it for stuff. You can buy food and gas and clothes and stuff like that for the moment, but we'll see how that works out in the long run. There are brilliant people out there like Bill Holter. I really do believe he's brilliant, not just because he agrees with me, or should I say I agree with him, but because I just love the way he takes the facts that we're all looking at, and he has a unique grasp on them because he is so well informed, so educated in these things that he will be able to put a spin on it that works for the rest of us, a spin for everyday human beings like you and me. That's what I want. I don't want to hear about buying calls and puts and on oil or pork futures. I don't want to hear that, but I want to hear how the current economic situation is, how it impacts me or you. That's what I want to know. And then when I have a clue, when I have an idea how that's working, then I kind of have an idea of what to do. So we have the financial overview. The bond yield is the yield curve is still inverted. That's terrible. The dollar's still way too high. That's terrible. Jerome Powell, well, not Jerome Powell, really. His bosses just raised the interest rate another 75 basis points. So, that's collapsing our banks. We've got banks all over the place defaulting. And people say, well, I don't see anything going on. Okay, fine. Good, you don't? All right.
They're not looking.
It's okay with me. To make No, they're not listening. Well, they're probably watching MSNBC and CNN. To make matters worse, Saudi Arabia just came out this week and confirmed that their number one trade partner was China,
Yeah.
and followed by Russia, and they are selling oil in all currencies now, not just the petrodollar. So the petrodollar is officially dead.
Yes.
That was the one thing since 1971 when
we came
I guess
off
it
the
was
gold standard.
came off the gold standard, but when I think it was Kissinger went over there and invented the petrodollar. When
Right.
he made Saudi Arabia agree to sell oil in dollars only, then we've had an advantage for the last 50 years.
Right.
Now that's gone. So that's going to be a problem for us going forward. How quickly, how soon? How soon? I'd say about 72 hours. I'm kidding. We don't know, but Bill Holter, who I think is pretty smart, says by the end of the year we'll be looking at it in the rear view mirror. So look at it and do what you think is best. If you
Right.
think we here at Rural Survival are full of shit, then hey, don't do anything. That's fine.
Right.
I hope your family or your wife or your kids aren't counting on you. The silver had an amazing conversation yesterday with the local bullion dealer, who was actually pretty big here in this town. They're one of the bigger ones probably in the country. They didn't have any silver to sell. No 1 ounce, no 10 ounce, no 100 ounce. I didn't ask about 1,000 ounce because I just don't have $30,000 to walk in there and put on the counter.
Right.
Amazingly, they did have 90%, which they never have. 90%, they never have 90%, but they had it. Which, how in the world all this happened, I have no clue. But that was interesting. It's selling at 20 times face. In other words, you're going to pay about $5 for a quarter. A 90% quarter would be a U.S. quarter minted before 1965. Okay, that's what that is.
Right.
Very utilitarian. If you got to walk into a place after some kind of an economic collapse and pay for something, I mean, okay, let's say silver runs up to $60 or $100, or they claim it's going to 600 and beyond. What are you going to do? Put that silver round down and say keep the change? No, you're not going to do that.
No.
So you'll either have to forego. You'll have to forego that whatever transaction that is and move along, or you're going to have to come up with some 90% to settle. There are a lot of people who are going to be a lot more comfortable accepting 90% because they know what it looks like. They know what it is. You're not going to have to try to convince them that you didn't melt down aluminum or lead and make your own coin. So there's that.
Well, I hate to say it, Rick, but people that can't tell the difference, it's going to take them a while to accept precious metals anyway. You know, it really is. And there is going to be a lot of fraud out there. You know, I can take brass and make something that looks identical to a gold bar and try to pass it off as gold.
Well, you better polish it before you try that.
Oh,
Because,
yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
that oxidizes very quickly. The derivatives market, which is the biggest joke on the planet. These are when they call a derivative, meaning that we will sell you a paper joke, which is supposed to be backed by something, but it's backed by nothing. It's actually a product that I invented out of my mind, and I'm going to call it a silver ETF. And I'm going to tell you that it's backed by silver, but only about 1/10 or 1/20 of it is. And if you ever try to lay your hands on the silver, you'll never get it.
Right.
That is two quadrillion. 2 quadrillion is what is invested right now in ETFs. And those are in your 401k, those are in your pension funds, those are in your portfolio if you're unlucky. Those are toxic assets, in my opinion. They're a joke. To put it into perspective, 2 quadrillion is 2,000 trillion. 2,000 trillion. I don't even know. I'm speechless here. So let's talk about practical stuff. Because we're supposed to run out of diesel the Sunday after the election. So that would be 9, 10, 11, 12, probably, what is that, the 13th or 14th? I don't know, the Sunday after this Sunday. We're supposed to be out of diesel. When the diesel stops, if it's true, when the diesel runs out, we're out of
13th.
no more trucks, no more trains, trains, generating systems, people who are using diesel to create electric, that comes to a stop. There are going to be problems. Now that's going to create problems with massive problems with the supply chain. And as Tim mentioned a minute ago, every state isn't going to run out simultaneously. There will be hot spots all over the place, but make no mistake about it, it's going to have an incredibly deleterious effect on your ability to lay your hands on stuff, because you know how you like your stuff. So like I said before, we're ordering Christmas presents for the kids early, bringing them in by Amazon, trying to get them here as quickly as we can, because while you know, if I don't get anything for Christmas except a kiss from my wife, I'm going to be fine with that. She's a good-looking woman and the best person I know, so that's a decent present for me. But the kids won't.
I hear you.
The kids won't stop. The kids will want a little more. I don't need any more stuff anyway. I'm kind of overstuffed. I can barely walk through the garage. And that's a spiritual problem. I'm going to work on that. I promise you I will. Now that the weather's colder and I'm not doing as much gardening, I've got a little more time to clean up. So let's talk about something. You want to hear something bizarre?
Mm-hmm.
73 billion liters of kerosene or paraffin oil, it's the same thing, is used worldwide every year. Do you know what 73 billion liters is? That's the amount of jet fuel, almost identical, the amount of jet fuel the U.S. Airline industry uses here every year. That's how much lantern lighting is going on in places where that's their light source.
Right.
Now, seven states are warning about rolling brownouts right now. And I don't know, maybe it's related to the diesel problem. Maybe they're just trying to rattle your cage. Maybe they're trying to shake you up. And maybe it's a psychological operation to make you feel who knows what it is. But we want to talk about lanterns, and I don't want to talk about cheesy, cheap lanterns. I want to talk about reliable lanterns that are reasonably priced.
Our favorite brand.
Which means Dietz. I want to talk about this lantern. No, this is a Nerf football. Wait a minute. I want to talk about these lanterns made by Dietz, genuine Dietz. And if that looks upside down,
it is.
You're standing on your head, turn over.
There you go.
Okay. So they've got, if you go to, there are two places to get these things that I know of, two places that I would suggest are possibilities. One is Amazon, but you're going to pay too much, I promise you.
Yeah.
The other is the place that actually makes these things at this moment, which is called W.T. Kirkman. The website is LanternNet, no spaces, lanternnet.com. And you go to the section called Standard Lanterns, and you will find utilitarian grade Dietz colored lantern. This is a basic lantern. It's Dietz blue with a clear glass globe. Right? Now they have, I don't know, 10, 12 models, and we can't go through all that right now in a little video, but there are a few of them that are more useful than others. This is I guess my favorite at the moment, which is almost screwed that up. It's the number 8 Air Pilot. This is, I think, one of the handiest. It's also reasonably inexpensive. Let me change pages. This is the number 8. It is, if you'll accept it in standard blue with clear glass, it's $57. Okay, not bad. This has a wider wick. This has a 7/8 inch wick, which of course, because that wick is that wide, originally the old oil lamps use a round wick. They didn't produce anything. They produced like 1 candle power. Okay,
Right.
so this produces 12. Yes, 12. And it's got a runtime of 27 hours because the font is medium sized. Okay, so this is a very handy utilitarian lamp for all purpose. There is another one which is also incredibly handy called the Little Wizard. It's a little cheaper, but it's a little different too. It has a 5/8 inch wick, which means it's going to produce less candle power. This only has nine candle power. But you see the size of the font on this thing.
Yeah.
It's super wide. It's a very large, I think it's an 84-ounce font, I think. It has a runtime of 45 hours. So, and you're only going to use this at night, right? So, if you've got it running 4 hours a night, that's 11 days, right? Am I right? 11,
Yeah.
44, 45, yeah. That's what this is. $40. If you'll accept it in blue with a clear glass globe. This is standard. This is no frills. You can buy ones that are painted black with brass wire and all that, but you're going to pay up for that. If you're looking to produce light, you don't need brass wires, but it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. I would also highly suggest if you go to W.T. Kirkman, I think they've got free shipping. I just read that this morning. These things, like for example, one of the things I don't own, but I like the look of it, is the number 2500 Jupiter. It's one of the more expensive standard lanterns. But and if you buy it in blue like that, it's $73. It's got a 7/8 wick, but it's got a really big font, just like the Little Wizard does. It's got a really big font. In fact, maybe a little bigger. It has a 75-hour runtime. That is, but it's 12 candle power. 12 candle power, 75 hours. I don't know what 4 into 75 is, but it's 20 something. I didn't it? I think. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Hold on. What is 75 divided by 4?
The answer is 18.7.
18 and 3/4 runtime. 18, that's 18. So that's almost 18 days. 19, almost 19 days. So that's pretty good. I would highly suggest you can use kerosene or K1 or paraffin oil, which is kerosene. Stuff's pretty stinky. If you put it in the house, you're going to know it. I tried it because it's cheaper, but it is going to make your eyes water. If you're like most people, it's going to be somewhat disturbing after a while. What I highly suggest you do, and you can barely notice this, is get some of this Medallion clear lamp oil. I think what is this? This is 2 quarts, is a half a gallon. I think I paid about $8. Now it probably went up. I probably bought this a year or two ago, but in my opinion, if I walk out of the room and walk back in and the lamp is going, you'll notice it. It may have a very slight odor, kind of like that odor that you get when you blow out a candle, which is, you know what it is. When you can, but if you're sitting in a room with it, it becomes unnoticeable. Such is not the case with paraffin oil. You're going to know it. Eventually, your eyes are going to start to water. Your nose is going to start to burn. It's not something you're going to want next to you for 4 hours. I promise you it isn't. So it's up to you, though. If you want to save some money and get maced, go right ahead. You can do that. So, I would say there were older lanterns that we don't need to get into. There was a dead flame, which has no venting. There was that was followed by the hot blast lantern, which mixed the spent fuel with the air, which was an improvement over a dead flame lamp. But then when they came up with the new cold blast system, the air comes in up here and is drawn by the heat of the wick, is drawn down this way to an air chamber that is in with the fuel but separate, and then it comes up through the wick, comes up with the wick. And
Yep.
So this is windproof. This is a hurricane lantern. Okay, so this is a huge improvement over the other ones, but this was still basically invented in, like, what was it? The most recent improvement was, like, it was 1869. Okay, so this is kind of like the 45 ACP, the Colt 45 Army, the issue, the Colt 1911. You know, once you've got something working, you don't really change it too much.
Right.
So I don't think I said this time. The Jupiter, which is, if you'll take it in, I didn't just say this, did I? If you'll take it in standard, you can get it for $73. If you try to order this off Amazon, they're going to tell you the list price is $147, which it is not.
No.
And they're going to give you 40% off, which brings it down to $88. Oh, what a break. So you can either pay 73 or 88, but you're getting 40% off. But don't worry, you can make that up in volume by buying 6. So there's one more thing that I guess I want to show you. And we do a lot of bird feeding around here because we like to see the birds come and go.
Yeah.
It's part of living semi-rural is getting to see some wildlife. But you know what? If you live in the city, you're still going to get birds. We have, bird feeders. The only thing we use in the bird feeders is black oil sunflower seeds for 2 reasons. First of all, it's inexpensive, reasonably. It's up 30-40% over a year ago, but it's still the cheapest bird seed you can get. And it does not attract things like starlings, which we don't want around. You get songbirds. The other thing we do a lot of, which also tends to attract interesting birds, but not necessarily the same crew. Woodpeckers really don't eat sunflower seeds. So what we developed is what I'm copying are suet feeders, which, and I don't have the cages on this one yet, but let me turn my desk around. My desk today is on wheels. Now look at that. Now the sun has moved. Hold on.
It has. However, I think people get the idea, Rick.
Is it in the camera at all? Because I can't tell.
Yeah, it's in the camera. Pull one of those rods out and show people what they are.
Yeah, I wanted to use something that was lighted, but I didn't want to try to keep up with light. So off Amazon, I bought acrylic rods, 1/2-inch acrylic rod. And, of course, I have to cut these. These, I just stuck them in here for show and tell. But that's what happens. Now I have to fill in the rest of these holes, which I will. But, these things are in the sun. You put this would have a wire cage here, which I'll just bend out of hardware cloth. And you put the suet in there, and the birds, they fly up, they land here, and they eat. So you get woodpeckers. We have 5 different kinds of woodpeckers. You get cardinals, blue jays, mockingbirds, titmice, any kind of climbing bird, nuthatches. We get way more variety of birds on these and way more weird birds on these than we do on the seed feeders. So we'll see. That's made of solid cedar. I was thinking about making them to sell, but I got to tell you, it's at this point, it's just way too time consuming, and I just don't know if anybody wants to pay $200 for a bird feeder. So, although
I
I'm
doubt
told they
it. Not
will,
many people,
uh,
at least.
um, yeah, that's hard to say. I mean, at some point, what I might do is cut out a bunch of parts and put a few together and see what happens. But if nobody wants to buy them, I'll simply give them to my family as gifts. That about wraps this up here. Um,
Well,
what
one
do you
thing I'd
think?
like to mention, going
Anything?
back to the lamps, uh,
Yeah.
spare globes, spare wick material.
Oh, yeah.
Wick material, you
Oh, for
buy it
real.
by the yard or in rolls. It's not expensive. Right, exactly. I got two sizes. I got 3/4 inch and whatever that smaller one is. I forgot.
This is five. I've got 5/8 and I've got 7/8. I'm not sure what else I've got. These are wicks for the lamps that I own.
Right,
But yeah, you got to have that, and you got to have spare gloves, especially if you've got kids. You got kids, they're going to knock your lamp over and they're going to break it. So
right.
once the globe's gone, they don't work much. It's not worth it.
No.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, you want to do a prayer then?
Yeah, go ahead, Rick, please.
Holy Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine power of God, cast into hell Satan and all of the other evil spirits who wander through the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
Amen, buddy. Well, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, we'll put out another video as soon as we can. I'll get this one up as soon as I can, but I got to get my paying work done first. So hope everybody has well,
A safe election day.
yeah, a safe election day, a
Good luck with
nice
that.
Thanksgiving if we're not back, but before then,
That's quite a ways out. I think we'll be back. Yeah.
I think we will. If I can get my health straightened out, we'll be making another one soon. So anyway, folks, thank you and God bless.
See you around.